All right, greetings. Welcome back to Blackbird News, where everything is connected. How are you all doing? Good to see you. I'm so frustrated. I was bound and determined to start the show on time today, and I forgot to plug in my dang soundboard, and I was like, there's no sound. Why is there no sound? I went through all the chords, blah, blah, and then I was like, oh, it's not plugged in. Yeah. Anyways, what's up? How you doing, Phantomas? I got your number, man. Sorry I didn't call you yesterday. I was very, 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 very busy. Well, I'll try and call you today. But how's it going, guys? Your castle is built out of air, says Loey Appets. Greetings and salutations. We're live on YouTube, Rockfin, Colin, and on Twitter. For the time being, those are the platforms. I don't know. Maybe we'll find some other ones. Who knows? Who knows? The shadow knows. The shadow knows. That's what you get on your face when you turn your face sideways. You get a shadow. You get a shadow nose. No? Nothing? Okay. Thanks. All right. A few things to cover. Bada bang. Bada bing. Bada boom. I'm here all week. Let's see. This is a good post from Jack Lowe. This is the time lapse. You know, they have the jet trackers, right? And you could track jets. You can track planes all over the place. I think that's actually kind of cool. Sad would be the day when we could not track the jets. Because something to do, right? So what all the kids are doing, tracking the jets. Anyways, this is the time lapse of the 520, sorry for the loudness, 525 private jets departing Las Vegas following the Super Bowl. We gave up plastic straws and turn off standby lights, though. So we're really on it with this preventing climate change catastrophe thing. 525 private jets. And Taylor Swift, he says, keep recycling those jam jars, kids. Mic is a little hot. I like my mic a little hot. Yeah. Exactly. Well, until they pass a law that, outlawing private jet ownership, only allowing one car per household. I don't know. The deconstruction of the federal highway system. I know, crazy. What? No. Until they start doing some real, having a maximum wage. But that would be communism. I don't know. What do you want? Take your pick. Either you try and do things that are fair for the people on the planet, or you don't. I don't. But letting people just do whatever they want is not going to work because people are crazy. And I don't care how much anarchism or agorism or libertarianism you have on deck. People are freaking crazy, and they're going to do crazy things. And people with power and money and a little, a hefty dose of narcissism are just gonna do whatever they want to do, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, stop! Oh, hey, man! Oh, that's really not cool." Anyways, you have to be able to like institute some kind of controls and you have to do it in a way that makes sense to people, right? I'm not talking about egregious, trying to shut down farms and farmers because of climate change, but allowing this to go on. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You have to really do something about climate change, or don't. The farmers are right. They're not. Maybe they're wrong on they're wrong on the immediacy, of it, I guess, right? Like we just want to live, man. Well, yeah, everybody wants to just live. But yeah, as long as you're going to allow everybody else to carry on, it seems a little silly. We're going to talk about houses falling into the ocean, or not being worth much because they're all about to fall in the ocean. We've been seeing a lot of this. Why? Because the oceans are rising, dude. Oh, they turned on the HARP array and the earthquake machine, and I joke about that. I don't doubt that they have a HARP array and an earthquake machine because some people are Doctor Evil, but because DARPA is Doctor Evil on some level, but I'm sure if they don't have it, they're working on it. But but what's happening is that the sea levels are rising because the ice is melting, and you can see the ice is melting because if you go to any place that has long term glaciers, the glaciers are melting. They have melted enormously. The Antarctica is melting. The Arctic is melting. It's all melting. Greenland is melting. It is melting. The sea levels are rising. It's just that simple. And you don't really have to think about it too much. Anyways, a house belonging to Kid Rock is among several homes that have recently sustained damage from beach erosion along the coastline of Jupiter Inlet Colony in Florida. I love how they say beach erosion. It's called high tide, bro. It's beach erosion. High seas, high tide, high sea level. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. It's funny that they call it beach erosion, but the beach is eroding because the sea is higher. It's funny how they leave stuff like that out. AccuWeather, of all people, they could say the houses are collapsing into the ocean because of high tides, king tides, high tides, higher sea level rise, anything. No, they say beach erosion, which tells you how little they really actually want. The people that are saying that the climate change folks are trying to push an agenda. I don't know. This is AccuWeather saying, like, calling something that, something, calling beach erosion, what am I trying to say? Sea level rise, something that it is not. That's what I was trying to say. It's sea level rise, but they're calling it beach erosion. It is not beach erosion. It is sea level rise. Call it what it is. So, it doesn't seem like much of an agenda if there's, can't even really, like, name it. So the agenda is, do stupid things around climate change, but don't really tell people actually what's happening when the thing that's actually happening is actually happening right in front of your face. Oh, this heat wave sure is this is terrible. A little crazy. Can't wait till the heat wave is over. All right. Yes. Good lyric, Bella. Osama. Boom goes his house because he played too loud. Yeah. Here's another one. Brace yourself, people who live on the coast all over the world. I can't sell it. It's worth nothing. Despair of the residents whose Norfolk village has been left to fall into the sea. Why is it falling into the sea? Probably beach erosion. Somebody says if only someone had warned them. They were warned years ago. I don't know what these. It's happening all over the place. Why is it happening? Because the sea level is rising. Oh, but it's been rising for 250 years. That's a new one. That was a good one from Tony Heller. Right? It's like we're going to change, that's classic gaslighting, right? Change the goalposts, change the context of what, There's no sea level rise. Oh, no, wait, no, sea levels have been rising for 250 years. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. There's no global warming. Oh, well, it is getting hotter, but it's not going to get too much hotter. Actually, it's going to be good for plants. Blah, blah, blah. It's just, okay, just shift the narrative however you see fit. Anyways. But this is happening all over the world. Why, they built a seawall at the Trump golf course in Ireland because of what? Sea level rise. They say it in the plans to build it. Sea level rise is named as the reason why they're building the wall. So, Trump knows it. Everybody knows it. He lies to you, and then and other people lie to you who are supposed to be telling you the truth, and then everybody's confused, and then people wonder why nobody knows what's going on. What's up, Rockfin people? What's up, Twitter people? If you're listening on Twitter, just give a shout. Shout. Let it all out. These are the things we can do without. Max Wilbert, the Tongass National Forest in Alaska, is facing its biggest threat of the century. Bill S1889 HR 4748 would permanently privatize 115,200 acres of public land. Yeah, why do you think they want to privatize it? 60,000 acres of priceless, irreplaceable old growth forest is on the chopping block. Right. Well, yeah. They're privatizing all these things, and things are getting worse, but we need less government and more, and we need the free market to, but they're privatizing all these things, and then things are getting worse, and people are losing their forests and their rivers and their streams and their ability to control the pollution that's going on. They're also losing the very small amounts of health care they have at the moment because everything is being privatized. They're going to lose all kinds of services, right? Firemen and police and water and all, right? Because it's just all going to be privatized. And so this is good. We need less government and less regulation because everything's going to get better, guys, when it's all just in the hands of, for the free market. It's going to be really super great, bro. Well, that is not good. Somebody said, here's a comment. How is this possible? If this is federal land, didn't the Biden administration say that it would not privatize federal land? Is this too just an empty promise? Oh no. No, say it ain't so. I thought Joe Biden was the next coming of FDR. Because I am, super smart. I went to college and I believed everything they said to me about Joe Biden, and because I'm super smart. Okay. I'm sorry. I got to stop bashing people that go to college, but these kids don't seem to be too up on game. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand me? No. I mean, actually, I'd prefer if people went to college and tried to learn things and know stuff. But there seems to be a culture of not knowing stuff around people that go to college. They go to college and they're super smart on some levels, and then, but that belief in the system or their place in the system relies on them not knowing some stuff about stuff, which I think defeats the point of being intelligent and going to college and learning stuff, having some book learning. Anyways, but if if you got a college degree and you went to college, bully for you. Good on you. I support people going to school. I just don't know I don't know what it is about academia that causes people to go what's happening? I don't understand. I don't get it. Loey Abbott says, by the way, weather suddenly got extremely mild, going from minus 17 to plus 17 degrees Celsius practically overnight in the Netherlands. College debt is not too smart. Something in the water, yeah. And then there's that. Actually, I heard that Loey about a bunch of places in the U.S. that went from snow drifts and freezing temperatures to all of a sudden super bright and 70 degrees. The old weather whiplash. You know it, you'll love it. The old weather whiplash. Excuse me. As you can tell, I'm still really quite congested. I really do support people going to college, but I just wish that they would like I don't know, require people to like pay attention to like what's going on in the world and dissect it and understand it, and sometimes like really understand it and not just have like a surface. These Democrats seem to be the best. I don't. Those Republicans are so bad. They're all bad. I'm just saying. The only things our governments and their corporate colluders should ever mandatorily dole out are food, water, shelter, and clothing. Absent those essentials, there is no life or health. All other mandates are tyranny. Chris Mattis wrote this. Good post. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that we're supposed to get some more storms. Or I heard that they were supposed to come this weekend, and then they put it off until Monday, and then that's it. I mean, kind of we had this a prediction that it was going to be like all weekend long a big storm, and now they're saying, um, now they're saying Monday and Tuesday, but I don't know. Hold on, let me see if I can find something on it. Will they tell me what I want to know? A trio of storms. Oh, well, look at this. So the dang Washington Post is no MSM. Okay, cool. California is once again in the crosshairs of a trio of storm systems that will drench the state. What is this? 22 minutes ago. The next arrives Saturday with a third. I don't really understand. What are they talking about? Because there's no storms in Southern California, so maybe this is in a different place. Maybe Northern California is getting some storms. I don't know. Maybe that might be so. One was exiting Thursday. Well, it's Thursday. There's no storms going on right now. But another two are hot on its trail. The next one arrives Saturday with a third between Sunday and Tuesday. The upcoming storms are not forecast to be as intense. One expected between Sunday and Tuesday will likely bring periods of heavy rain, mountain snow, strong winds, flooding, and possible power outages. Despite the influx of moisture, the Sierra Nevada snowpack is running about 20 to 30% behind what's average for the date. Part of the reason atmospheric rivers have a tropical connection, so it's warmer. It melts all the snow if it's not cold enough. Well, it says there's a storm exiting now, but we didn't get it. We got none. We got no storm, so I don't know where this is supposed to be. Just Northern California, I guess. Okay, well, yeah. I suppose we're going to get some more weather. Oh, thanks. Contemplative pragmatist. Thank you. Thank you. I got engaged, you guys. I know. It might be weird. Might be a weird time to get engaged, but I mean, no time like the present. And I really like this lady. I do. She likes me too. So that helps, right? Um, yeah. Yeah. It's it's an exciting time. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, everybody. She's a brave woman. Absolutely, indeed. Yep. um, well, we kind of have this. We have a very compatible level of weird. So I think that it's going to work in our favor. Complimentary, I must say. All right. From Doctor Professor. I've seen this guy before, but I didn't realize he had Doctor Professor. Gao Compo Dungladler Esquire. Oh, thanks, Basil. I appreciate it. Much happiness to you and yours. Basil gave me a super chat on YouTube. Thanks, man. Thanks, sir. Professor, or Doctor Professor Esquire. Awesome. That is great. Oh, he says, what does he say? No, no, that's not what he said. That's not what he said. Let's see. Great points from a summary of civilized to death. The agricultural revolution was a one-way process that took our species away from everything we'd been since the origin of our species. It temporarily produced more food per unit of land, which quickly overpopulated areas. The transition from hunter gatherers to farmers was difficult and often compelled because farming required human labor that the foraging lifestyle did not. Humans were being bred as a source of cheap, disposable labor. Well, you can't stop progress, right? But maybe you can slow it down a little bit. I don't know. Can you stop progress, guys? What was? Oh man, I had a really you have those revelatory thoughts sometimes, and you're like, oh yeah. I'm really upset at myself right now because I had a really revelatory thought. What was it? Oh, forget it. I'm gonna have to figure it out later. About climate change last night. I think it was like while I have these thoughts, in the middle of the night. I think are just really awesome, awesome thoughts. But I don't have a little book next to my bed that's called Awesome Thoughts. I can write them down in. That's bad. Turbulence is getting worse because of climate change. I think you all heard this, right? Got to feed the cities, yes. And if you imagine right? The amount of inputs that each major, if you think about a city of 10 million people, New York City, Los Angeles, these just massive, massive cities, and you think about the input, the daily inputs. Think about all the food and all the energy and all the things that a massive city like that consumes, and you think about all, how many trucks and trains and ships full of stuff need to pull into these cities, every day just to keep, the 10 million. I mean, it's mind-boggling, right? And all the garbage, yes, so some are right. All the stuff going out, you got to ship it on out. And you think about just the enormity of these inputs, and then you're like, where does it all come from? And how long can all these inputs keep being, mined or drilled or sucked up out of the earth or grown in huge agriculture camps, and right, like Steph C says, I think New York City is 7 or 8, New Jersey 6 or 7. Yeah, I mean, like, well, you have these greater metropolitan areas, right? Like I think Los Angeles is, in Los Angeles it's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 million, but the whole area, if you just take the sprawling area of Los Angeles, like, which extends, outward, like up to Ventura or down to Orange County, it's I don't know, 11. It's a crazy amount of people, 11 million people or something. Yeah, flying is getting weirder for a lot of people. I mean, it's getting more difficult for many reasons, right? The planes are less safe. The planes are not being kept up to flying, in flying shape. And the pilots, they're trying to pass laws that allow just like one pilot to fly a plane. The people flying the place, there were a lot of pilots that were forced out of flying for a little while because of mandates, and then the people that took, I don't know if I can get deep into this. We're going to jump to Rockfin in a second. Anyways, there's issues all over the place with the airline industry. They're all kinds of problems, and on top of that, turbulence. So there's turbulence, a lot more so these days because of why? Because of extreme weather. Because the weather is not the same anymore. We have more energy in the system. More energy in the system means stronger storms, stronger everything. And one of those effects is stronger turbulence, which we have seen. We've seen a lot of videos coming out of the skies of people in planes getting just tossed everywhere, and it's getting worse. And I feel like that's quantifiably worse, right? Just people. But I've seen worse. Oh, definitely deleted. Radiation poisoning. You got a flat tire. Is a thing, right? If you're up in a plane, you're being exposed to radiation. Not a lot of people understand that or know that. So people who are in planes a lot, like stewardesses and pilots, and then people, frequent flyers also are getting higher doses of radiation. These are also true things. Let's see. Are we gonna? Okay. Last thing on climate change, and we're gonna skip diddly do on over to Rockfin for a few seconds. Leon Simons. There was a post in the is it the Daily Mail in England? The same radiation is weakening the structure of the planes themselves. Yeah, for sure. Then you have relaxed standards. You have Boeing um, asking the government to relax the regulations so that they can continue flying the planes that are defective. And the government is like, I think we could do that, right? Like, so, you want those regulations. You want the regulations. You want the good regulations. You don't want the regulations wiped away or cast aside, or you want the bad people going like, are we gonna? Maybe we won't enforce these regulations today. If you want to fly on planes and feel a little safe. Anyways, the Daily Mail they had a headline about the day the day after tomorrow is coming because the AMOC, the Gulf Stream, is slowing down and might actually stop altogether. That is a good question, Osama. How could a 767 exceed its flight envelope by 200 miles per hour? Mm-hmm. Right. But and some people were dismissing this as clickbait and stupid, and this headline is misleading. But Leon Simons, who knows a little bit about something, says this: I did some basic energy and water calculations on the scary AMOC study. So it was based on a study. That headline. It was not a. It was. They didn't just concoct it. They were citing a study that came out. The scary AMOC study that's making headlines, so you don't have to. It's quite simple. So please don't let the orders of magnitude scare you off. This is a big effing deal. First, what are we talking about here? What is the Atlantic meridional overturning? We all know what it is. It's a shitload of water transporting a shit ton of heat energy north through the Atlantic Ocean. The study starts with the AMOC strength of about 15 severdrups, or 15 million cubic meters of ocean water per second. That's the transport speed. This transports about 1 petawatt of heat north from the southern hemisphere and the tropics. It's about 32 zettajoules of heat per year. Zettajoule is a whole lot of heat. When the AMOC tips, most of this ocean heat transport stops. The obvious question people are asking is, could this happen anytime soon, and how? The study is, as have others, for example, Dr. James Hansen, which is not he's not referenced for some reason, shows that a lot of fresh water input from rainfall and Greenland ice melt could shut this thing down this century. The more fresh water is added, the slower the AMOC becomes. The tipping in the model happens at about 0.5 severdrups of freshwater input. There's a lot of fresh water. There is a lot of fresh water waiting to add those 0.5 severdrups. If only there was enough heat available to melt the ice sheet of Greenland. I'm not even going to read this equation about what a severdrup 0.5 is, but it's a lot. Greenland holds a lot of ice, which could provide about 170 years of 0.5. 170 years of 0.5 severdrups of fresh water, after which global sea levels would be over 7 meters higher. To melt 0.5 severdrups worth of ice for a year, it takes 5.3 zettajoules of heat. Since 1970, our greenhouse gases have caused about 450 zettajoules of additional heat to accumulate in the Earth's system, 90% of that warmed the oceans. Aerosols, notably from coal plants and ships burning sulfur-rich fuels, have reduced that heat accumulation. Now that we are reducing aerosols, more heat is accumulating. The larger North Atlantic Ocean region shows a spike in how much sunlight is being absorbed over recent years, while higher temperatures cause more heat radiation to space. The net effect is a spike of over 2.4 watts per meter squared above the 2000 to 2009 average. This spike added 4 zettajoules of heat over 12 months. And there's a North Atlantic energy imbalance chart for you. The record high global energy imbalance is now about 1.8 watts per square meter, which adds. Did I say square meter squared before? Sorry. Which adds 29 zettajoules of heat to the Earth system over a year. To make a long story short, the heat is there to melt enough Greenland ice to shut the AMOC down, and we don't need all that heat to be directed to the melting of ice, as more precipitation also contributes. And of course, we're only making the climate forcing in Earth's energy imbalance worse by rapidly increasing greenhouse gas concentrations while decreasing aerosols. Sorry I couldn't make this more hopeful, but numbers don't lie. All right, so he's saying maybe it's a possibility, maybe not, like, probably not this year. Yeah. All right. Anyways, hopefully you all found that interesting. Guess what? We're gonna move on over to Rockfin so that we can talk about some other things, and I don't have to censor myself, which I just did a few seconds ago when I wanted to talk about something and just make an offhand comment, but I couldn't even do that for fear of triggering the ever so smart people, or what AI or algorithmic bumbleclots of YouTube. Anyways. All right. So YouTubers, before we go, really good ways to support the show. You could, super chat, or you could super Ray on Rockfin. You could buy me a coffee, buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. You could Cash App me at Red Llama Music. You could Venmo me at Kevin Samblum. You could PayPal.me/Kevin Samblum. You could Zelle me at KevinSamblum at ProtonMail.com. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy having a good spot to hang out in the morning. All right, YouTubers, appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, and that's, what we do on Friday. We'll see you then, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard, and we'll move on over to Rockfin.